2000 is right around the corner.
We're broadcasting to you tonight from an altitude of almost 200,000 miles away from the face of the Earth, and we have a pretty good show in store for you tonight.
At 12 a.m. today, 3 autonomous astronauts from South London AAA returned from space. As part of the Dreamtime mission, we had been in space for a total of 66 hours.
The year 2000 is right around the corner.
The Association of Autonomous Astronauts was officially launched on the 23rd of April 1995 on St. George's Day. It was launched as the world's first community-based and independent space exploration program.
Radio AAA entered the association because we'd seen the material that was floating around, and we saw that it could be a good way to emphasise our strengths, which were a background in paganism and occultism.
I knew this kid called Reggie Skywalker, a YTS Jedi with his own flying saucer. He bombed round the universe shaped like a chisel pig and stole the wheels off abandoned spaceships. I get brandy and dress smart like Dracula and fly down from the moon in my spaceship spectacular. I'm leaving crop circles and loved up farmers. I'm blowing them away with loaded bananas. It's the year 2000, is there anyone out there? If you're from another planet, put your hands in the air. The year 2000, is there anyone out there? If you're from another planet, put your hands in the air. The year 2000, is there anyone out there? If you're from another planet, put your hands in the air. The year 2000, is there anyone out there? If you're from another planet, put your hands in the air. Say yeah.
Going into space opens up whole new possibilities. We ask, what is the point in going into space just to replicate life on Earth? We think that there's no point going into space if all you do when you get there is go and visit McDonald's on the moon and go to, you know, Marks and Spencer's or something. What is the point? We want to think about other uses for that technology, uses that come from our own desires. We think that sex will be even better in zero gravity. We have ideas about organising raves in space.
It's the year 2000, is there anyone out there? If you're from another planet, put your hands in the air.
When we first sort of started talking about these ideas of opening up space exploration to everyone, people really thought that we were completely mad, you know. But in fact, what's happened throughout the 1990s is that more and more people have actually started to talk about this as well. Talking about the possibilities of space tourism, you know, hotels on the moon, hotels in space, all this kind of stuff. So this technology is going to get cheaper. I mean, if you look at how NASA, for example, use this technology, they've got a really boring kind of attitude to it. They send their astronauts up into space, and what do? They work. Generally, if you want to become an astronaut, you're going to have to go through quite a sort of rigid kind of training program. You're going to have to adopt a very particular kind of mindset, basically a sort of militaristic kind of mindset. You're going to have to obey orders, you know.
We're gathered outside the British National Space Centre to protest against the 1986 Space Act. Space is a common treasury for all.
Non-hierarchical network of groups, international. Basically, we're saying anybody can be, you know, part of the Association of Autonomous Astronauts. There aren't any kind of requirements for joining. So the Association of Autonomous Astronauts is everybody. People like the South London group can't kind of do much exploration into anti-gravity, but they have found they can climb inside tumble dryers at laundrettes and like spin around in them to see what weightlessness and disorientation is like. And I mean, anyone can play three-sided football if they kind of like get the rules and stuff or whatever, or make up their own rules. Psychogeographical exercises like wandering around with a map of the moon. It was very good. We went out, we discovered parts of the moon, went looking for a suitable territory to play three-sided football, and then the groups have come back and kind of reported to each other, and we've decided on a site and we're going to go off and do it now.
So what do you think of three-sided football?
I don't know, man. It seems to be very awkward, isn't it? I mean, 3 goals, 3 different players, and like you don't know who you're passing the ball to, do you? Really? Because no one's got no matching clothes, do they?
It certainly doesn't look like it, no.
So they're all going to get mixed up. But I suppose it's all right.
So space travel by any means necessary.
Space 1999 is part of the AAA's final push and will bring together autonomous astronauts from around the world to present various activities including media invasions, recruitment drives and propaganda efforts. This 10-day festival will also expose local communities in London to the possibilities of independent space exploration. Moving in several directions at once, the AAA has declared only those who attempt the impossible will achieve the absurd.
This third intergalactic conference builds on the success of previous events in Vienna and Bologna. The first AAA intergalactic conference took place in 1997 in Public NetBase in Vienna.
Good evening, I'm the press officer for the Association of Autonomous Astronauts, and so it's my duty to communicate ideas to people. So if I'm speaking very quickly, or making lots of feedback, or you can't understand what I'm saying because it's very slangy, then shout out and tell me because I'm doing it wrong.
We'll take it from there. When they're built like this on demonstration, and you turn this sort of the old medieval, the idea of the centre of the universe was the world, and the sun's up there, to the sort of sun being the centre. And it's like Giordano Bruno came along and said, well, yeah, that's not what's going on. There isn't a centre.
The second intergalactic conference took place in Bologna in 1998 at the Link Center.
It's going perfectly at the moment. Everything's been going according to plan. We had to wait quite some time for a day as windy as this so we could get the blown to blow flat and scallop out like that. So as a parafoil. If you choose a day that's too still, when the balloon just inflates into this big horrible sphere-like object and just floats away and just shoots up into the sky and you lose it. So we had to wait for a good day like this, nice plenty of wind, and hence the balloon's still on the ground. Time check, anyone? Beep, 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 beep. 2 minutes to start on.
It's going in exactly the opposite direction to the way it went the other day. I suppose being in the paper is the next best thing.
An entire suburb of Hamilton goes up in...
Oh, it's the middle of winter, so you're right.
Oh,
we
yeah.
fired it off towards Morrinsville. It's going so slowly, you know, we could almost bloody track. Is anyone got a bike? I'm looking directly up at it because I'm seeing the crosshairs of the colour design. That's if you've got an advantage of that design, you get an idea of the perspective, you know what you're actually looking at. If you looked up now and saw that, you would have to wonder what the fuck it was, wouldn't you? If you looked at that and said that would have to be a UFO. I mean, look at it, it's got little bright bits around the edges, it's circular, and it's flying on a straight line at a fairly steady pace. I mean, it could be very large and very high up. Wouldn't you say? Small and too hard to see. Cannot pick it up anymore. It's travelling in a northeast direction. One would have to assume that it's going to come down over the Coromandel somewhere, or even in the Pacific beyond.
As soon as you break away from the idea of space being composed of 3 dimensions, then the opportunities of it and the opportunities of having communities in space, I mean, I think there already are. The point is that we want to be involved with them and interrelate with them.
If people had a choice between living in space communities or working in factories or offices, I think a lot of them would choose to, join in the autonomous effort.
The way the physical environment is constructed around us, you just have to look around here and it imposes a certain sort of mentality on people. So we want to transform things both on, not just in terms of ideas, but in the real world as well. The two go hand in hand. You can't do one without the other.
There's so much of the kind of everyday life of living in a city that actually connects in with these kind of issues around technology and around the control of space.
The Association of Autonomous Astronauts creates space exploration programs that combine propaganda efforts, recruitment drives and media invasions. In developing various media invasion tactics, the Association of Autonomous Astronauts have been able to skillfully manoeuvre through the filtering techniques supplied by the media. Our ideas are so powerful, they are still able to infect people's imaginations.
Anyone can become an autonomous astronaut, and the idea of being a network is that people bring their own ideas and experiences to that network, and then new possibilities are made available from the sort of collision of all those different ideas.
So we can walk in slow motion and at a 6th gravity.
Space is the space that you move through in the city, every day of your life.
So we can also put our hands hand on the sides of people's heads and telepathically read their minds and discover what they're thinking.
It's the year 2000, is there anyone out there? If you're from another planet, put your hands in the air.
We want to open up space exploration to everyone. We have a 5-year plan to build a worldwide network of groups that are all dedicated to establishing their own space exploration programs and constructing their own spaceships.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're certainly delighted to be here today. I'd like to start off our portion of the show by giving you a taste of a little something we call rocket soul music.
We're standing outside the London headquarters of Lockheed Martin Corporation, a major international aerospace and arms company involved in space exploration. We've handed over a letter to them asking them to hand over their resources to the Association of Autonomous Astronauts for the development of our own community-based space exploration programs.
Rocket soul.
I'll read you the text of the letter. To whom it may concern. The Association of Autonomous Astronauts is a global network committed to community-based, galaxy-friendly space exploration. As such, we are opposed to the commercial and military exploitation of space. We are extremely concerned that your organization is actively promoting the militarization of space, as well as making Earth-based weapons of mass destruction, such as Trident missiles. You are involved in the Star Wars ballistic missiles defense program and various NASA activities, such as the Space Shuttle and the International Space Station. The close involvement of a weapons manufacturer in space exploration can only be detrimental to life on Earth and indeed beyond. We therefore demand that in the interest of life in the galaxy, you decommission your weapons-making capacity and hand over your resources to us for the development of our community-based space program. We await your cooperation.
Zero tolerance for NASA. Zero tolerance for NASA. It symbolizes our struggle against NASA, but it also causes serious damage to NASA that I cannot reveal you in this context.
Well, we've declared an information war on all government space agencies based on the kind of recklessness that they display in space. For example, a good example of this is the Cassini probe, which NASA have sent up into space, and it contains on board about 33 kilos of plutonium. If this probe actually enters enters the Earth's atmosphere, which could happen, the result could be potentially catastrophic. So it's an example of the kind of single-minded recklessness of a government organisation which is really only interested in furthering its own interests and its own agenda. It's, by extension, a kind of global New World Order agenda. In many ways, that New World Order is relocating itself in space.
It's the year 2000, is there anyone out there? If you're from another planet, put your hands in the air. It's the year 2000, is there anyone out there? If you're from another planet, put your hands in the air.
Other organisations like NASA, they have to have a very, very fixed
notion of how to travel into space.
They also have to have about 80 billion pounds.
That's what I'm saying. It's the Spondulics which are getting away somewhat, wouldn't they?
We're not only concerned with the technology.
Right.
What makes us different to other space programs is that we're far more interested in what's going to happen when we actually get out there. We're not just interested in the technology itself, we're interested in how the technology is used. We're interested in the new possibilities that are going to be opened up when we begin to form autonomous communities in space. We're interested in the kind of lives that we're going to be able to construct for ourselves when we get into space.
Local, community-based space exploration programs and the permanent transformation of the world by an association of autonomous astronauts will make science a banality and no longer a truth of state. Autonomous astronauts will enter into space to make the universe the playground of the last revolt, that which will go against the limits imposed by nature. And having smashed the wall that separates people from science today, the conquest of space will no longer be an economic or military promotional gimmick, but the blossoming of human freedoms and realizations. We will enter into space not as employees of an astronautic administration or as volunteers of a state project, but as autonomous astronauts reviewing their domains, the entire universe, a vast playground for the Association of Autonomous Astronauts.
Our message is get out there, start your own group, and get into space, and we'll see you there.
The year 2000 is right around the corner.
Our next broadcast will be from Frau Mora on the surface of the moon.